All right. So let's start the update live stream on with a little bit of bells in the background. Cool. Let's get started. If at any time someone wants to drop in, please just follow us into the Zoom call and or in the YouTube live stream and leave your comments there, and we can go into them later. But to get started, so fundamentally, today I want to talk about some strategy updates we have been talking about in the last few weeks that should help us to, build more useful tools for you in the near and midterm, and also fix some of the mistakes we made in the past year. And those are namely two that we could identify. One is that we had an idealism on our technological infrastructure that we wanted to build. So we spent a lot of time building an offline first product with a sync between mobile devices and an extension where in both environments we don't really have a lot of control over, which makes it really difficult to build upon, and also to iterate faster. And if we don't have control over the infrastructure, it's difficult to build reliable tools in the end, because then every change in this infrastructure that we couldn't foresee could cause things to break, and this happened more than once. And the second mistake we made is that we spread our attention too thin, developing too many features that we didn't fully think through and fully plan as a team. And through this, we oftentimes ended up building half-baked features, or we didn't have the time to properly fix bugs that appeared in the features that we built. And this is an absolute beginner mistake in the end, but we had to learn it. And now we're at the point where, we can make adjustments to this and are really looking forward and energized to professionalize our operations and product development cycles. So the two foci that we could identify is improving the stability and performance, and the adding sharing and sharing collaboration features with a specific emphasis on workflow integrations into other softwares. And we long struggled a little bit in finding a kind of a positioning for us in the market, and what kind of users would really have an extraordinary use of what we're building. And I think we found that now a bit more clear. And so what we see is that knowledge professionals and knowledge workers have roughly two steps in their knowledge workflow right now, or two specific steps in which we can add value to. The one is the synthesis process, which is the creation of new information, like writing blog posts, synthesizing your own knowledge, knowledge gardening, etc. And there's already wonderful tools like Notion or Roam or Evernote that help people doing that. And that's not really where we want to compete too much. We see ourselves more in this connector piece between the web content people consume in order to go into the synthesis process. So we will help with the curation, with the organization and the pre-preparation of the content that people are exposed to. And both this from a personal perspective on how you can organize stuff, how you can enrich it with contextual information like annotations, but also how people could start like collaboratively curate this content better. Because in the end, our vision for Memex and for WorldBrain was always how do we make it possible to battle information overload, and through that help people to overcome the influence of misinformation and social polarization better. And we think fundamental to this is that there's so many topics that a single individual cannot even process, but together we can. And so how about we help each other to filter information better, to get better insights, to understand more perspectives on the online content we're consuming. And we think that the sharing features in particular, and I come to how we think about those in a second, would yield a lot of benefit for users in that workflow integration from the curation process into the synthesis process. Yeah. And so I would like to, first, I would like to invite you to jump on a user research call with me, because we're one of the things we want to really improve in ongoingly is that we have more continuous user research at every step of the product development cycle, and structure our development process into much smaller chunks, where in a 2 to 4 week cycle, we can already provide a lot of value to users. But yeah, this is, for example, the things that we were not doing really well in the past year, and hope to improve that now. So if you want to jump on a user research call with me, and so I can understand a bit better what your workflows are, how you share content, how you filter content, who you collaborate with, and how, where your frictions are in this process, I'll be super happy to have that call. And also, if you want to view our roadmap, you can go to worldbrain.io/roadmap. There, all the projects that we currently work on are laid out, and also opportunities to collaborate and specific little tasks and bugs that we are very grateful if people jump on board with us and help improving the tool for everyone. It's open source. So yeah, looking forward to welcome you in our chats and working together too. So let's jump a little bit into the sharing features and how we imagine them so far. Let me quickly open this here. So I hope this is visible well in the live stream and for people in the call. So this first view here is the private dashboard, as you know it now, with a couple of tweaks, but in general, this would be your private dashboard where you have a collection of content listed. In the very first iteration, we would just enable you to share a link to those collections, and other people to view them online. Yeah, and whenever you add a new item to these collections, then it would automatically be visible to anyone who opens them. So yeah, here you can share a link by clicking on the little share icon. This is, for example, then how someone would view this collection. Here's an example taking Tiago Forte, who curates a list of note-taking tools, specifically those that are more like next generation of note-taking tools that are working more with like connected data and like network thoughts. Another feature that we can see, which we're now in the planning phase concretely, is to be able to share notes and annotations on 3 particular levels. which one of it is the collection itself. So you want to have notes on, on the collection level. Later, then also conversations. So these are already here factored into the mockups. However, for the first iterations, we're just enabling you to share notes. The second layer is the page itself. So you click on a page and it would open up the sidebar with the annotations on that page specifically. We're also thinking a lot about how do we enable people to skim information faster. So it's not even set in stone that we put the annotations in the sidebar, but maybe they're actually under every item, so you can really quickly skim as a reader through these lists and make a choice of, like, essentially what is the least amount of effort to know what's in that article, so you can really quickly basically jump on that. And the last level of which we want to add notes and conversations eventually is the page level. And here we can think about notes that are associated to the page. Oh, sorry, it's not a page level. The specific sections of the page. So in this case, it would be, for example, an annotation. But we could also think later about pictures or subsections of videos in specific websites or YouTube pages. Yeah, again, this is really bare bone, like mock-ups to show you like roughly where this is going. Of course, there's so many more nuances, and particularly about what we build next. And these are like, this decision boils down to small differences between what do we enable first, enabling sharing all annotations on a page via a link, or sharing a link to one particular annotation, so you, for example, can reference it easier in your chat groups or in your note-taking apps. And yeah, to make these decisions, we would really appreciate all of your input. So yeah, please jump on a call with us, calendly.com/WorldBrain. Sweet. So yeah, that's the basics of the sharing features. Let's go to the next step. And that is the product updates. I'm just leaving it like this. I hope this works well. Because I'm going to jump immediately into a demo, and that is the copy paster. It's now available for beta users. So if you want to have access to beta features, consider subscribing to our new Pioneer plan, which gives you early access to all beta features, and also to an exclusive Slack channel where you have direct access to us and to voice feature requests, bug reports, and just generally have a better ability to influence our roadmap and mingle with a growing community of knowledge professionals and digital gardeners, etc. We're looking forward to see many of you here. So, but how the copy paster works? Essentially, what we figured is that in the nature of making it more possible for people to use Memex in this workflow of curation, organization to synthesis, it's really to put the ability to more easily import or export, in this particular case, export content that is found into other applications and reference it there. And the very first iteration right now is the ability, for example, to create copy pasting templates that you can adapt in a way that fit your personal workflows better. So for example, here is a markdown template. So it creates a markdown like link, and I can show you how this looks like in this particular case. So you have here Basile Samel as a Twitter account. If I click on copy to clipboard, then let me go to Markdown editor. So here, for example, you have then immediately format as a markdown file, markdown snippet. You can also, for example, think about how a Rome to-do and then paste it into Rome. This now works for pages. We're currently refactoring the sidebar so that we can also add this for annotations, and ultimately, which I'm personally really excited about, to create links straight to annotations, meaning you could easily reference a note inside another app, but then not just link to the page, but really link to the specific annotation and then straight jump to that annotation. And this could be much like here, if you think about an annotation that you want to jump to, where you go to the page, it highlights the piece of text and it opens a sidebar with that annotation. But yeah, not coming from the Memex dashboard, but coming from wherever you referenced that particular note. So now, if anyone has open questions, please. This is the time when we open it for that. Anything about our project, we answer virtually any question. So please either come to the Zoom call if you're in the YouTube channel, or ask them in the YouTube comment section, or generally whenever you have questions, you can go to our community board, community.wiltbrain.io/c/ask-us-anything. So let me see if there's any questions on YouTube. Doesn't look like. Okay, I guess then we're through with the update call. Again, if you listen to this and if you're interested to help us refining the roadmap for the sharing, collaboration, and workflow integration features, I'm super grateful for you to jump on a call with me, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, just how you want it, at calendly.com/. Generally, you can follow our updates always on opencollective.com/worldbrain or on twitter.com/worldbrain. And the next update call will be on Monday, August 17 at 6 p.m. CET. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and hopefully until soon.